officer of the DC Bar that these officers are violating my civil rights under federal law, and I will be pressing charges on everyone who has physically touched me tonight, who has applied pressure to me in ways that I will not forget anytime soon. This is tragic. In a country where black men are being killed by people that look just like this, I was sneered at, I was ignored, and I was not told why I was being detained.
What are the names of the two officers holding you right now?
This officer, Accosted, he has his name blocked off. I do not know what it is, and I don't want to touch him for fear of my life. This is an FBI agent who I do not know.
Aren't they only allowed to hold you for 10 minutes without charging you?
They are trying to manufacture evidence. I do not have a magazine in my weapon because my magazine is in the trunk of my vehicle, which they would have known if they would have asked me. They did not ask me.
That's a DC attorney that's being held, that was being held, and folks were filming it because, yeah, we need some more actual street journalists showing what's going on, or else they can continue to do this in the cover of darkness. He was being held as they're looking for something on him. Let's let him continue telling his story. Here's the second half of him being held there.
To the American people watching, this is what calling out a failed system looks like. Again, I was walking peacefully down this block, and I was accosted by 20, no less than 20 MPD, FBI, ATF agents and officers. I am not crazy. I am totally sane. I have complied with all of these officers' requests, and 30 minutes after being detained, I remain detained and not able to go. I do not know what charges. I do not know why I'm being detained. I was given no information. No officers are offering me any type of credence, no type of respite, nothing. Simply stand here, you niggas, and be handcuffed while we wait to find magazines that do not exist, or we will find one for you. I assume that is the case.
He talked about all these different agents from different agencies that collected on him, talking about some gun and magazines that they're looking for, as he told them, as it's legal to have in this country. Last I remembered, it's legal to carry a legal firearm in this country and own one, especially when the magazine isn't even in the firearm, as, again, they refused to find out from him. So again, all these folks that have always been wondering when this overreaching government is going to come for your Second Amendment rights to bear arms, it's here, except it's from the guy who said he's on your side. It should be easy to tell. Because, you know, again, they're looking for crime as they hold that DC attorney for however long that they did, and except the crime that the National Guard that's been sent in to fight, apparently it's McDonald's cups and wrappers and napkins. Watch, National Guardsmen now in reflective pennies, with on the top of their camouflage fatigues, walking around with black garbage bags through parks that I don't see even any garbage in, as they're searching for maybe a straw wrapper, looking for maybe someone that dropped a penny or a nickel on the ground. That's what they're being deployed for. That's what they're now being used for. This is the purpose of Donald Trump's military presence in Washington, D.C. He wants it to look normal now. Folks are running in the background on their morning jogs as folks in military fatigues walk around like that. That's what normalization of this stuff looks like. So that there's this idea that at any moment, as they now, as of this week, began to allow these folks to have firearms now on them, to make it more intimidation on the American people, that they said they would not target. You know, this video has been going around, or this post has been going around of Kamala Harris, who, of course, ran against Donald Trump, pointing out that he's going to send the military into the streets to go after American citizens.
Donald Trump intends to use the United States military against American citizens who simply disagree with him. People he calls, quote, the enemy from within. Donald Trump said that because he does not want a military that is loyal to the United States Constitution. He wants a military that is loyal to him. He wants a military who will be loyal to him personally. one that will obey his orders even when he tells them to break the law or abandon their oath to the Constitution of the United States. In just the past week, Donald Trump has repeatedly called his fellow Americans the enemy from within, and even said that he would use the United States military to go after American citizens.
They said she was overreacting. This woman must be emotional. Except everything that she's been saying has turned into reality. I'm waiting for the apologies. I'm waiting for the people to say, my bad, I forgot that I was watching him tell us he was going to do all this stuff. My bad, here are the gulags. Here are the foreign prisons. Here is his personal army walking around the streets with guns out now, telling people what to do, where they can go, and why are you here? So as usual, the propaganda channels for Donald Trump's, his regime, Jesse Waters is one of the, he's one of the clowns with, the bulbous nose, and he dances around like a joker, and he tries to help with the normalization of this by making jokes.
DC's so safe, the Guard doesn't have any criminals left to chase. They're picking up litter, cleaning up the park so Stephen Miller can take his wife on a romantic stroll under the moonlight.
So that's supposed to be har. But what it is the normalization of this, and even bringing up Stephen Miller. So Stephen Miller can take his wife out to dinner. The elites, again, all you folks that thought he's coming for the normal, regular, everyday, average Joe American, what Jesse Waters is concerned with is allowing the elites like Stephen Miller, his right-hand man, his Joseph Goebbels, to take his wife out for dinner in D.C. because now we've taken over the city, decimated the restaurants, forced people into their homes where they're afraid to step out in American city, the capital of the country, so that the elites can go out with their wives. I think he thought he was joking, but the problem is he's speaking a little bit too much truth in this window into what it is that they're planning. Here's Westmore, who he was fighting with before. He's the governor of Maryland. And he wanted to, again, clarify. And the best things that I saw him saying before, earlier on this week or late last week, was how much he's misusing this National Guard for these purposes.
And the thing that gets me most about this is how deeply disrespectful this is to members of the National Guard who signed up for this job, as I did when I deployed overseas and I led paratroopers in combat, where we signed up with the expectation that the commander-in-chief and the people who was declaring our orders was actually taking it seriously. And the problem is we are seeing a lack of seriousness from the President of the United States to a very serious situation. And that's why I invited him to come to Baltimore, to come be educated, to come learn, so he doesn't have to spout nonsense from the Oval Office and things that are just blatantly not true about what is actually happening and the work that's happening in coordination to make people feel safer in their neighborhoods.
It was never, ever once about crime. So I think Westmore knows that. That's why he continues to push this one point about, I invited him here to see the way we're really doing it, if you're actually concerned about crime. So then when he won't respond to actually doing anything about it, maybe to some people who are thinking past the first phase that he doesn't care about it. He has to avoid looking for solutions to crime. What he's there is for punishment, for intimidation, for occupation. He's a fascist. It's like we already knew that for the people who had some kind of derangement syndrome and listened to what it is that he told you he would do. Look at how far this is going to stretch to. I mentioned his Joseph Goebbels, Stephen Miller, who apparently wants to go out to Washington, D.C. with his wife. That's the purpose of this occupation and the suppression of folks' businesses. This is how things go from we're going after illegal immigrants, violent, radical, rapists, murderers, and killers, to then undocumented, nonviolent migrants, to then legal status migrants, to then American citizens, to then people who oppose us. And now look at where Stephen Miller is reaching it to now. It's that oppositional party that shouldn't exist.
Democrat Party does not fight for, care about, or represent American citizens. It is an entity devoted exclusively to the defense of hardened criminals, gangbangers, and illegal alien killers and terrorists. The Democrat Party is not a political party. It is a domestic extremist organization. Look at Chicago. They've shut down the police department. They've handcuffed law enforcement. And as President Trump says, they have turned the streets of Chicago into a bloody killing field. Body after body after body after body. That was Washington, D.C. Residents were afraid to go to restaurants. They were afraid to go into entire neighborhoods. They were getting carjacked right and left, robbed and beaten. And the Democrats, instead of jumping up and down and saying, thank you, President Trump, thank you for saving our lives, thank you for saving our cities, thank you for scrubbing away all the graffiti, the trash, the homeless encampments, the druggies, instead of cleaning up the city, instead of thanking him for that, they're saying, President Trump, how dare you save our lives? How dare you save our children? How dare you save our city? The Democrat Party, Sean, that exists today, it disgusts me. I do not recognize that party, Sean.
It's the beginning of the criminalization of opposition. The Democratic Party is a terrorist organization. The Democratic Party is in support of crime. He doesn't like that Democratic Party. He, and he alone, doesn't like it. So we need to do something about it. Are you waiting for that step next? The suppression of education, the suppression of history, and a lack of knowledge of how things unfolded is the reasons why they're able to do this in front of so many people's faces, and people don't go, wait, what? It's almost like they're Nazis. So when are we going to stop acting like they're not Nazis? Elon Musk gave you the signal on Inauguration Day. But we had discussions and arguments and debates about, was that really a Nazi salute? Or was it just some kind of Roman salute? Or is he just having fun? Or is he autistic? Or is he a genius? Or is he a Nazi? Or is he finally celebrating the way he always wanted to? We're here and we're taking over this country. They've been implementing the policies ever since.